The results of this video and these battles are extremely interesting to me, and I hope to you too, because we're showing a victory and showing that it's possible with a beginner's account. But the surprising thing is, that beginner account provided to us by one of our viewers, thank you for that, for the love of gaming, it's actually probably going to do better than my own account, and there is a reason for it. We're going to explain. So on the left side of the screen, that's my phone, just using my account, level 40, usually optimized for most things here, going up against Cliff. The beginner account a little bit bigger on the right there. That's going to be, essentially it was limited to the choices that I had in the box to choose from, whereas my account, you know, I could largely pick whatever I wanted, but I did try to stay within Ultra League as well as sticking to Pokemon that were in recent events, or at least 2020 events, with the hope that new players, they would have access to these. So let's analyze that. So on that left side, my account, the very first thing I did was I had a Toxicroak on that first spot. Toxicroak because Croagunk was in some recent events, could be shiny, but we're gonna need to use it later. So it actually got one hit, and then I switched it out immediately to a Gengar. This Gengar's wearing a party hat because you guys remember the party hat events and stuff. That was largely, like, I would say before coronavirus quarantined most of the world. But anyway, we switched to Gengar for the same reason that we had Scyther over on the beginner account side. Both of these Pokemon are going to resist the fast attack of the Pincer here. They're not even going to take neutral damage, but certainly not super effective. Both of these Pincers have Rock Smash. So these were actually two different Cliff battles. But the interesting thing about Scyther as the pick over there on the right side on the beginner account is this is a case where Scyther is the better choice above Scizor, its evolution. Scyther has the flying typing as well as bug, so there's an extra resistance against the fighting type attack, which is obviously, as we said, Pincer here using Rock Smash. So Scyther is going to be double resistant, whereas if it was a Scizor, it would take neutral damage to that fighting. The other thing about Scyther, as you see it KO that Pincer right there on the right side, is Scyther can also learn flying type moves. So we have it with Fury Cutter as the fast attack. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but it gains energy really fast. But Aerial Ace is the charge move for our Scyther, and that's super effective versus the Pincer. So this was an area where, you know, some people might be thinking like, oh, I'm going to use fire, or I'm going to use rock. For instance, Rock Smash would wreck a lot of rock Pokemon, having the super effective damage. A lot of them maybe don't have the output that you want, and fire Pokemon would take the neutral damage, but might not also succeed in an area that Scyther just did at the CP that Scyther was at. You know, our first two Pokemon on this beginner account, Scyther and now Victory Bell, who's out, they're in the Great League, so they are both below 1500. I mean, that's crazy, like good kind of budget options in this case, I would say. So Marowak, gonna be the middle Pokemon for Cliff, with my account taking him on, but of course you saw Amistar there. Amistar was really easy. That Victory Bell with Leaf Tornado, it did perfect pretty much. And Grass, totally super effective against the Amistar there that Cliff had. So on the left side, it's amazing to see that we're actually struggling a little bit just because I had to narrow it down to those choices. Ferrothorn was the other Pokemon that we had on the left, and we really want to save that Ferrothorn, but I did have it in there to face the Marowak for just a few seconds, you know, to get off a hit, and then we're going to switch out. The reason we've been doing so much switching on that left side, like we did with the Toxicroak first thing, is because most of you guys know this, especially if you watch my videos, but if you don't, you're new to the Team Go Rocket stuff. Whenever you or the enemy switches a Pokemon out, so that's whether it's by fainting or just manually switching them out like I did, the Team Go Rocket Pokemon are going to stand still. They're not going to do anything for a total of 5 turns. It comes out to about 3 seconds. So that's time that you can be attacking, keep building up that energy, because then, as you're attacking, you unleash that charge move right before they're about to hit on that 5th turn, and you've got a leg up, because then you do your charge move, it makes them stand still. That's the other thing, is whenever you or they use a charge attack, even if you shield or they shield, again, they're going to stand still for that same amount of time. So this is a way often to kind of cripple the Team Go Rocket Pokemon, make it stand still for such a long time, especially if you can get these charge moves out like mad really fast. So for Ferrothorn, again, it was a good choice for that kind of anchor spot, because Cliff is going to send out a Swampert here, whereas he had a Torterra against that beginner account. Now, we didn't have a lot of options on that beginner account, so I used Cobalion kind of as that last anchor spot. That's one of the few legendaries that account has, so you might see that being pulled out from time to time in these beginner account videos. The point being, though, Cobalion did change a lot once it had access to Sacred Sword. Anyway, Ferrothorn, though, you could see right here, it is important that it had that Power Whip as its charge attack, because, you know, it's not exactly handing it to this Swampert either. You know, Swampert can be pretty rough sometimes, but when it does get out that charge move, that Power Whip, those are some pretty massive hits. So the point is, we just hope that, you know, we have enough charge attacks. Bullet Seed is the fast attack that we had on the Ferrothorn. You know, we were kind of sticking with a full grass moveset there, which is good against Swampert, and these attacks did help us with the Marowak. I mean, that Marowak actually hit us pretty hard a few times. But yeah, I think you guys saw, it's like, for instance, it took longer for my account. We did limit ourselves. I'm gonna give myself some credit here. I did limit it to the Ultra League as well as only Pokemon that were in 2020 events, not from years past. But I mean, yeah, you saw that with that matchup and just with the different typings, with the moves. That beginner account actually finished the battle, I don't know, like a whole minute before my account actually could. And my account is, I would say, expert, usually optimized for most things. And if there's a Pokemon we want, we can find it, we can use it, we can TM it or whatever. That beginner account, we don't have those options. So my hope is that this can kind of illustrate to you, if you're still in a pinch, if you still have just kind of those limited choices, you have limits with optimizing your Pokemon for these Team Go Rocket fights, you can still work with what you got. Use those typings, use the moves, pay attention to what the Team Go Rocket moves are going to be and what types those are. And once you get that kind of Chinese puzzle of information all squared away, you can take the victory. Please feel free to click an end screen on screen. This was essentially part 3 of 4. The next one that we're doing is going to be against Giovanni. We have already fought him. The end screens should take you there, the playlist, whatever. And I'll catch you guys on the next vid. And thanks for viewing.